What is up? It's your boy Jonni.shreve, IFBB Promos and Telegs. Guys, welcome back to the episode of Coaching Up. Today we got Anthony Mantello. Before we get started, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. You guys are watching and not subscribing, so make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Hit it now. And before we get started, guys, get down to the description below. I have all my sponsors and all the guys, all the companies I'm working with and collabing with, sponsorships. We're talking, discount codes and whatnot. Go down in the description right now. HELT supplements. Hit that. Use that link. Every time you use that link, I get a ding. I get paid. So help your boy out. Either way, hit that link down there for all the supplements back there, like I'm taking. I'm going to do a review on those so you guys get an actually honest review of how I feel and how I'm using these supplements right now. You guys have seen me do reviews on it already with Greg before he even came out. We were testing them all, but give you guys an actually, in-depth of how I've been using them in my day-to-day life and how I actually feel about them. What am I actually using? Am I using all the products? Am I using the fiber? Am I using the sleep? Am I using the fat burner? Right? Anyway, so go down there, use that code, guys. Also use the other codes down there. Use them all. Let's get checked. One of the best ones down. Let's get checked. Keep you guys healthy on the inside as well. The outside, guys. Use the code Jonni30. Let's get checked. Use my code Jonni15 also for 50% off the Power 13 cookbook as well. Use my code Jonni for 50% off Fit Army. Head down there right now, guys. A lot of good stuff there that you guys can benefit from. Also, guys, hit it up. Get to my website right now, jonni.shreve.com. Grab yourself a copy of the Ultimate Push-Pull Legs Training ebook. That thing is flying, and I really appreciate the support, guys. Even if you guys are just buying it to support me, I appreciate it, but you're not just getting that out of there. You're getting really good quality. So when it comes to iron sharpens iron, literally, you guys are sharpening me by giving me the ability to do this, and I have to give you guys good stuff back. I have to give you guys quality because you guys have helped me grow, so I can help you guys grow. Anyway, let's get it started. We're going to head over right now and check out your boy, Anthony Mantello. And just so if you guys go and watch this video, it's a leg video, but there's a lot of extra in there. So parts, why is this not going right now? Let's go. What the heck? Connecting. Hold on a sec, guys. It's embarrassing. Waiting for Google. Let's go, Google. Come on, man. It's loud. That's loud. All right. So we got leg extensions first. So, a lot of this, I wish he'd actually tape more of his stuff. I know he does a lot more like vlogging stuff, so he's more vlog style, but just watching him do it, some guys do a lot of this stuff, they kind of feel the legs when they're doing leg extensions and everything else. The main part of doing this is I'm going to stop this for a sec. Use the bench, use the machine, and everything it has on it. It's there for a reason. So use those things. Use the handles. Use the pad. Get your back on the back of the pad. Get your butt in the back of the seat. Use it, right? So a good thing here, I'm actually watching a really good picture I have here. This is how you should look when you're doing this. Now, when I'm looking at his, at his legs right now, how he's engaged in this is how I'm actually going to explain this in the video clips that I've done already. I'm going to show you guys how to actually keep yourself engaged in what he's actually doing, because he's not explaining what he's doing, but he's doing it correctly. And that is using the handles that he has right there. He's giving himself leverage. That's where you get your leverage. I want you guys to remember leverage. Leverage, leverage, leverage. Okay? Leverage is what's going to help you move the weight more efficiently. And you're going to use leverage by using the machines and having those pieces of handles there to pull yourself in and keep yourself tighter, and use your physique, your actual biomechanics of how your body's going to move for leverage as well too. You use your leverage. You use leverage through pulling movements, doing bent over rows, right? So we want to grab these handles here. We want to keep ourselves engaged. We want to make sure our butt doesn't come off. So when we're watching this, I'm going to watch him do it. I don't want that stuff. I don't want to extend ourselves like this. I know he's putting all that effort into it, but if anything, you want to keep ourselves opened up and back. And open your chest up. We want to keep that nice, strong T spine, that C, T, and L spine. I mean, the neck's going to move a little bit, but we want to keep a nice neutral spine, because when we're lifting, remember, guys, we're shortening. If you understand, if you think about like leg extensions, right? Doing leg extension, we're extending the knee. If we want that we want everything, engaged. We want to make sure that that hip stays back, because that's going to lengthen that, right? If we decide to kind of roll ourselves over, same when I see people do leg curls, they kind of bend themselves over and hold the bar. They hold it as they do leg curls, seated leg curls. You're shortening everything there. You're not helping yourself out in that way, right? So peel yourself back. Make sure you keep your butt in that bench, right? You can see a lot of movement here. Butt's coming up, like he's going down, and you see he's doing this stuff. So check it out. I'm gonna show you guys a clip right now, so you can optimize that. Okay, so we're doing leg extensions. I want you to think of really planting yourself into the bench. I'm gonna repeat this over and over and over again. These handles here are for you to help
with giving leverage. It's almost like you trying to do this in a sense, trying to pull yourself into the bench more. So when we're sitting on the bench, number one, we want our butt to be at the back of this. So make sure that you have the seat up high enough. Now, where should it be in relation to the back of your leg? A lot of people get this thing wrong. So most people have it too far back. Now this machine is really sweet because this is a hoist rocket line, so it moves with you. So it gives you the actual proper ergonomic movements when you're actually going through this. So, but even though this does move with you, you want to make sure this is not jamming the back of your legs. So have the bench, the back of the seat up high enough that you have a little bit of hang off here, so you have a good free motion or movement between the knee extension from here and then knee flexion going back, because you don't want this restricting your movement. Anyway, from then on, we want to be here pulling ourselves into the bench, right? Not necessarily like this, but just planting ourselves so your core is engaged. Remember, it doesn't matter what movement we're doing, we want to keep our thoracic spine, our torso, always in this like very stiff, athletic position where we're stabilizing from here. This is our base. Everything outside of this is an extension of our torso. We're basically doing knee extension. We're actually flexing through. So when you're doing this, you're just doing this and flexing your leg. I'm flexing my leg, but I'm not actually hyperextending my knee. This is hyperextending my knee. This is me extending my knee, right? And flexing through my quad. I'm gonna do the same thing underneath here while I'm putting my butt in the back of this bench, holding myself stable here, and then I'm gonna flex through here. And then where we wanna make sure where our feet are in relation to this pad, you wanna be like sitting around here at the top of our foot. Not sitting on our leg, because we don't want our foot to have to do any kind of like, we don't want it to have to work harder, right? We want to be able to freely move our foot, so we're either dorsal flex or plantar flex. Pointing the toes to your shins, pushing the toes away from your shins. So we want to be able to move freely to be able to do this or either this without it sitting on that part there. So again, when we're here, pulling ourselves into the bench, making sure we don't have doing this kind of stuff. We don't want our butt to come off the back of the bench. We want to have our butt in the back of the bench, sitting through, and then flexing through the quad and squeezing in. And you can see, I'm just squeezing through my quad. I'm not trying to hyperextend and pull my leg to the back of my face. So I'm just trying to extend through here and engage in my core, every movement, keep myself planted in the back of the bench.
Next, guys, we're going to hack squat. So hack squats are one of those machines where I see a lot of people use the machine the way you should be using it. Now, I'm going to show you guys just a still image here. Now, I've done a workout before showing you guys what I'm actually doing when I do hack squats. But the theme of this is going to be use the machine. Use the leverage for the machine. Use the handles right. When I'm looking at Anthony, and I see this happen all the time. Everyone's hands are out here like this when we're pushing. Now, what happens when we're doing a pushing movement going up like this? We're gonna do this. Right? We're trying to push together, and we're gonna move our back a different way. Right? We want to make sure our back stays in that neutral position. So when we're watching him do the set, right? Keeping the back engaged and the core tight, right? He's keeping himself engaged. But see his core is like, look at his core when you go down. He's not engaging the core as much as he should. And he's got that belt tight as F. But again, you can tell because you'd see when you tighten your core doesn't push out as much, it moves in, right? So you can see a bit when he goes up. But again, when we're pushing up, again, keep those elbows in, use the machine. So we want to pretend that machine is almost like, treat it like a goblet squat. So get those elbows in, so we're here. So when you're sitting back, you're in this position like this, like you'd be doing a front squat or a goblet squat. So when you're pushing down, that back stays straight, right? We have this thing here. We might go this way. We have this thing here when we're going down, instead of having this thing like this when we're trying to push up. Even though our back is on the bench, you can see right here. Remember, we want to make sure we have stability right from the top to bottom to top. So when you're doing this, if you have a hack squat machine like this, bring your arms in underneath. And you're almost using it to help pushing yourself up on the way up. So your body's going to be in this really good, positive, neutral position going up. Anyway, so check this video out. I'm going to show you guys how to do, depth-wise, where your feet should be and whatnot in this next clip. so you guys can optimize your hack squats.
Okay, so he's not using this actual machine, he's doing the regular hack squat. So when I was giving like tips on doing hack squats, again, it's to make sure we keep our torso, you know, stable, having a neutral spine. So when you are underneath of a machine like he was, you do want to have that, you know, your hand underneath, pressing on the pad, and then shoulder depression, almost like you're doing a goblet squat. So not this machine per se, because you can't necessarily do it, but if I put myself in that same position, I'm actually gonna be able to push myself more as if I was doing a goblet squat from here. So because I'm not in that actual position in that kind of machine like he's in, there's a half hack squat machine, I still wanna have that same posture. So if you have a machine like this, you still wanna be responsible for the rest of your torso, not just when I'm sitting on the pad and your glutes here. You wanna make sure that you're pushing your core, engaging your core, letting that little bit of a hip flexion happening while this goes down the floor, and a knee flexion. So the knee's gonna travel through the toes. And right here we have pretty good knee flexion and hip flexion, and then pressing back up and squeezing through, right? When it comes to, again, our core, our torso, keeping a nice strong brace. Use a machine here. The same thing again, just like leg extensions, holding yourself in so you're stable here. So when I'm going down, I'm gonna help myself kind of come up. So you're gonna cheat a little bit with this. You're gonna kind of help yourself with this by pulling in that direction while you're going down in the first place. And that's gonna help yourself be a little more stable and under control, and you're pressing through. We want to make sure we're externally rotating just so our knees are aligned with our toes. So when I go down, my knees travel in the same direction as my toes. I don't want them to be like this. I'm doing this kind of wonk, which looks real feeble. Doing this. All right, we don't want that. We want to open up so you can travel straight down and pressing it up from here. You know, engaging your core, strong brace, the floor, the core.
All right, so hopefully that helped you out, guys. So last, you know, he's doing this machine, and you know, again, we're just gonna talk about it. You know, take your time, right? Take your time in this machine. I find that when you use machines, it gives you the ability to contract muscles better without having to really worry about stabilizing too much. Even though when you're in the machine, you're still going to stabilize as much as you can, but you don't have to worry about balancing anything. So when you're in a machine, using the handles and using the machine for what it is, you can contract your muscles that much more efficiently because you can just focus on what it's doing here. You're not worrying about stabilizing your back in the sense of worrying about the bar doing this or doing whatever. You're stuck in a machine here where you have to press, so you can focus on pressing and squeezing through your legs, pulling yourself down with your hamstrings and pushing yourself back up with your quads. Still even having that eccentric load on the quads, but remember, you're always pulling and pushing everything. You're not just doing one motion. You're not just, dropping down and just jumping back up. We're lowering ourselves down and we're pushing ourselves back up. So think about that. You're in control of both movements. So as we move on until the next, these, we're gonna move on there. We're actually gonna do a couple reps here. We're gonna look at a couple reps here. If you look at where the arms are really, really, really working more than they should, you watch when it gets harder and harder. You have this, the arms are up. You see the open chest. You think about what kind of positive position. Think what kind of position you are in when you're really struggling and you're pushing something like this. Right? Your back is not round. Your back is not in a neutral position from that top. Now, I'm really overemphasizing that because for a lot of you guys out there who are beginners or just just starting up, whatever, this is what we want to start off being the strongest. We want to make sure that you're not loading on dysfunction. Meaning, if you start, increasing your weight and everything else on unstable, muscles and joints, stuff that isn't, can't really hold the load stable enough, you're loading on dysfunction. So you might get stronger. The muscle might get stronger, but the joint won't. The ligament won't. You're eventually just going to throw things off and get hurt. So that's why I emphasize that a lot. Moving on to press. So again, what's the name of the game there? What's the theme of today? Use the machine for what it's worth, for what it has. Why does it have handles, right? Anthony's doing a good job here. I keep catching him in these little position, like frozen frames, freeze frame, where he's exactly where he needs to be. That's where you guys need to be. You need to be in this machine, any kind of leg press machine where you're pulling yourself in, pushing your butt to the back of the bench, and keeping your back and your chest up so you're pushing. Remember, you're trying to push yourself backwards in a sense. Don't think about pushing the weight off, don't think about like pressing the weight or the leg press away from you. Think about you're trying to push yourself back. You're trying to push yourself through, the wall or whatever. You're trying to push yourself out of there, not necessarily push yourself off. And that kind of analogy for me kind of helps out when I'm pushing, and it keeps it stronger because I'm always trying to keep myself. Think about it. If I'm trying to push myself through a wall, right? If I'm in between a wall like this, and I'm trying to, I'm like this, I'm between a wall. What is stronger for me to do? To try and push this off and do this, or for me to push with my back and push this and push that way, right? What makes more sense? Obviously, the second way makes more sense. Same thing when it comes to leg press, or even a chest press, or any kind of press. Think about pressing yourself away, or into the floor, or into the bench, or, But this is exactly what we're looking at. Now, what I don't like is a jamming of the legs at the top, because we do get that little bit of a recoil of the knee kind of going wow and then going back, right? I'm going to show you guys the difference between, flexing your quads, extension and, hyperextension, right? You can extend your knee by flexing your quad without hyperextending your knee or jamming that knee up at all, right? The knee doesn't have to go from here to here when we're doing, a leg extension, right? Think about that knee and the kneecap being over top here. We don't have to do this. We just have to bring it here, right? We're extending. The weight's on, the weight's down here. Your quad is up here, and you're pulling, and it's pulling that lever up here. You don't have to and try and lift it up and jam your leg, right? We're trying to activate the quad. So check this video and take those cues.
Now we're looking at leg press. Now this is kind of similar to what he had. This one again, the hoist rock line, is going to kind of move with you. So when you're in this machine, it kind of moves. So it gives you a really cool extension here, well, as much as you can get, but helps move ergonomically correct when you're doing leg press. Now, the issue with most people is they think that where your feet are inside and outside are going to, equate to where your quads are engaged, or even like glutes. You're not going to get any glutes on this machine whatsoever because your hips aren't fully extending, right? So when it comes to you engaging more of your quads, it's more so how much knee flexion you get. So when we're doing this, it's not how wide you are. If I'm going to hit, hamstrings, yeah, my adductors going to work a little bit, but they're not really pulling together like you would be if you were doing a deadlift. So when it comes to us engaging more quad, we want to have ourselves move down so we get more knee flexion. Now this machine doesn't give as much knee flexion because we'll kind of stop right here. I want to get a little lower, and I'll be getting that much more knee flexion. But here's my knee flexion here, and then pushing through. If I want to work a little more hamstrings, then stepping myself up, the less knee flexion I get, the more low in the hamstring I'm going to get, right? So that's where you're going to get the difference of foot placement and then where it activates your hamstrings or your quads. So from here, again, when we're pressing, putting yourself into the bench, keeping this part here, torso strong, and here. And from here, I'm pushing through. Here, and push through. We don't want to be like this part, trying to push through this way. We want to engage your core so we're strong from here, pulling ourselves into the bench so our hips don't come off. We don't want our butt to roll and then our back come off the bench a bit and roll the bottom. We want our butt to stay in the back so we don't have too much of that flexion at the L spine, right? So we want to keep it strong from here. Again, we're doing that pressing movement. Think about yourself pressing yourself into the back of this bench instead of pulling the weight off your chest. So from here, grab, then tight, and squeeze through, and you're squeezing through. You're not trying to just flex your legs and lock out. You can see the difference between locking out and a rep just squeezing through. That's squeezing, that's locking. There's a difference between this and this. And I can still fully flex here, and my quads can still be activated without me having to do this. I can stay here and just flex through and push through, and there's hardly any weight on this. And I can still activate straight through.
Again, watching him do this leg extension, the next one, and obviously I'm not going to go over leg extension again, but again, there's things you want to continue to do. Now, why is he doing 2 different leg extensions? He's doing obviously quad dominant day today, and yeah, adding unilateral work in your every day is a smart thing to do. So not everyone who's watching can say my right is better than my left, or my left's better than right. This part might be bigger than that. I'm usually stronger on this than that. So if you have said that, then every one of your days you're training, you should have at least one type of unilateral movement in there to help with that. Anyway, so we're gonna go over just this again, hack squat. Now you see again, we're looking at this movement here. This is one of the best hack squat machines that you would almost emphasize the most as being almost like a front squat or a goblet squat. This exact machine, because it gives you that free motion like you're actually doing an actual goblet squat where your hands are positioned. We want to put our hands underneath, right? Use the machine. That's why the handles are there. They're there to help push. They're not there. Why would they be there for you to hold your hands like this? Make any sense? Like, where are you trying to pull it open, right? Or push it in? No, right? I'm exaggerating a bit, but just be smart. Just think about it. If we're trying to aid ourselves, and everyone who's probably on a machine like this, who's on the hack squat machine, that the handles are here, they're probably 100% pushing into it and trying to push up for sure. We're all trying to do that. No one is trying to push it in, right? The most optimal way again is what, like I always say, stack the joints. It transfers to this as well. Stack the joints. Stack the joints. If you're going to be in a hack squat machine like this, stack the joints. If you're going to be in a leg extension, leg press, whatever it is, stack the joints. Get everything lined up, right? So things are linear. So you're actually working with a good stable base, right? You're in control of the whole workout. No one else. So you got to think your way through a lot of things instead of instinctively training, right? You're in control. We're not reacting. We're not going to the gym and reacting to a bunch of stuff. We're actually we're actually doing all the cause and effect in the gym when we go to the gym. When you go out into the world, yeah, that's when things, there's other variables you have to, you really can't control. But in the gym, we control everything. That's mainly us. It is us. It's only us. So just think about when you're training. When we're on machines, use the machines for what they're worth, for what it's worth. Why do they have handles there? Why do they have a pad that moves up and down? And why do things adjust to it? Use it for what it's worth to help you get better at training. Remember, machines are going to help you focus on contracting more. So when you're in a machine, I'm not saying not to contract your muscle when you're in any kind of, free weight machine. I'm saying when you're in free weight movement, but when you're in a machine, think that you can press that much harder. You can go that much harder. You can focus that much more because you're not worrying about the machine falling over, right? You just got to worry about making sure that you move and work with the machine, right? Understand this. The machine was made by engineers. They engineered that thing so it works perfectly. It moves the way it should. Your body is engineered to do the same thing, only you have to control how it goes into the machine and then works with the machine. Make sense? Anyway, guys, hope you liked that video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. I'm coming with that tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth. And for all the stuff I said at the beginning, look at the description right now. Get the Power 13 cookbook. Go on HCLT supplements. Use that link down there as well, too. For coaching, jonni.shreve.com. Go to Let's Get Checked, fitarmy.com. The works, guys. And send me your progress pics, your training clips, your foodie pics, and I'll repost for you guys because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron because I've overloaded your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.